Good morning. The other day I got a question in one of the comments on my first month review of our Tesla Model Y, and it was asking where I got the screenshot of the app that showed how much money I was saving by using electricity versus gas. And I replied that it was in the Tesla app, and then I realized you guys don't get the cool stuff until your car arrives. So if you're curious as to what the app looks like after your car gets here, this is what it looks like. Before we get started, it's worth noting that any of these functions we look in this video you can do from any distance as long as your phone in the car has a data connection. You can watch your Sentry mode cameras, you can watch the car's location as it changes, you can unlock the doors. Any of these functions are accessible as long as the phone and the car have a data connection. With that in mind, let's get started. You've got your charging status. I'll up that a bit just so we can see what happens here. It shows you how much your battery's charged and that it's parked. One thing I found that was kind of cool actually was I'm recording this in the car and I just opened the door and sure enough, okay, you can see it's charging now. You can hit the fan and that just turns the AC on in the car, or the climate control in the car. And you can also open the front from these little menus here. But you can also, on the climate, if you want, oh, here's something I noticed. I'm recording this in the car, and so I've never seen this before. But I assume this is going to play the music in the car. Let me try. Well, that's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know why you would just use the controls in the car, but there's that. So here's the controls. Under the control tab, you can open the front and the trunk and lock the car. I don't know why that icon confused me for a while. When it's bright white like that, that means that's what it is. It is unlocked now. You would press it to lock it. You can also flash your lights and honk and start up the car, I guess. I don't know what that means. And vent the windows. Just a small tip, if you vent the windows, remember to close them before you go out and wash your car. I heard from a friend that that's rather inconvenient if you don't. You can bake in your seats, turn on the seat heat, put it on auto or set it manually. 1 bacon, 2 bacon, 3 bacon, none. You can also turn off the AC. It was off. I turned it on. Why do I say AC? Because it's summer, I guess. Climate control. You can adjust the temperature and you can again vent those windows. I'm going to turn that off and we'll go back. This shows your current location and also shows you a list of the nearest superchargers. And if you want, you can tap on the supercharger and it'll give you information like how many stalls are available and what the wattage is, and you can also send those directions to the car if you'd like. You can also zoom in and watch the car move in real time. I've used this before to make sure that my wife is getting home from work okay. It's a very cool feature. And you can also use this location feature to help yourself find your car if you've forgotten where you've left it. You just tap down here on the start button and then start walking towards the parking lot and it'll show you where your car is in relationship to you and you'll get there before you know it. So let's try out the summon functions. Let's move forward first. So you'll press the forward button and you'll hold it. And reverse works in the same way. Smart Summon is interesting. You drag the screen until the target's over where you want the car to go. And then you press Go to Target. And then all the magic starts. It's actually pretty interesting. I'll go into depth in this in a later video when I talk about all the autopilot and advanced autopilot features and how they work in the real world. Schedule just lets you set when you're leaving, like on a trip or in the morning. Let's say you go to work at 7 a.m. every morning. You want the climate and preheat battery set, all ready to go for you. Then you just set the time up there, whatever time you want. We're going to go with 8 o'clock. And have the battery preconditioned all week long or just on the weekdays. And then you also have an off-peak charge button here that lets you schedule that when the off-peak ends. We have same charge throughout the day, so I don't use that at all. And I'm semi-retired, so I don't go to work every day, so I don't use that either. Security. If you're out and about and you've got your Sentry mode on, you can remotely view the cameras from anywhere, which is kind of cool. You can also turn on the horn, flash the lights, or if you want to broadcast through the loudspeaker, you just hold down this button here and talk, and it comes out through the car. It's all very cool, and you can do it from anywhere. Valet mode is also interesting. This allows you to give your card or your key fob to a valet, and it dumps down the car so they can't do too much damage. It keeps the top speed to 70 miles an hour. It lowers the acceleration. It won't let them open the frunk or the glove compartment. Won't let them change personal settings, things like that. But the way you keep them from getting out of valet is by setting the PIN mode. So if we turn valet mode on here, it's going to ask for a PIN if you haven't already set one for valet mode. And I'll just set one here. And now they can't get out of valet mode without knowing that PIN number. So you can give them their key. They can unlock the car, drive it, do what they need to do, keep your key, and then return it to you. And then you can just enter the PIN and go on. Or you can just disengage it from the mobile app, because the mobile app's already an authorized user. You can just turn it off from the mobile app. You can also, of course, get into valet mode from inside the car. Just go up under Profiles, select valet mode, and if we hadn't set a PIN up already, we'd have to do that now, but because we already did that, we don't. So now we're in valet mode, and they can't get out of it without knowing the PIN. But once you enter the PIN, you're right back to your normal profile again. So that's pretty cool. You can also, if you want to change your PIN, you can just hit clear PIN here, and that just means you'll have to reset the PIN before you put it into valet mode again. If you don't do that, it'll just use the same PIN as you used last time. Speed limit mode, in case you want to use it, is where you can limit the top speed of the car in case you want to give it to your teenage boy and you're worried about him going too fast. You just go in here into settings and you adjust whatever you want the speed to be, and then you turn it on, and it requires a PIN so that they can't get out of it. And now the car will be limited to that speed. And to get out, you'd have to enter the PIN again. Okay, now we're going to try this add a driver function, which I've never done before. Create an invitation. Okay. How in the world did those people show up? I'm sharing my Tesla with you. So what happens when you press the link? Then you got your charge stats, and this is a screenshot I took for that review, and the gentleman was asking me where I got it from. Well, this is where I got it from, right inside the app. It tracks the last, 31 days? Yep. And this shows that I've used no supercharger during that time, and I've charged at home, so I've saved $221 this month. And I like to compare it against my cars, which actually get less mileage than the ones they use. So I'm actually about 1/10 of what it would cost if I was driving my other ICE car around. The gas equivalent, by the way, is calculated by the cost difference between charging your Tesla versus fuel cost in a comparable gas car in the same region. Currently, it's $5.59 is what they're using for their gas, which is the average in the United States. And that's the settings here where you would set your kilowatt hours. I'm with Inland and Power, and I get 7 cents a kilowatt hour. Yeah, pretty lucky. And it's not coal, it's all hydro, which is also pretty cool. Upgrades. Allows you to buy accessories, or I can buy the boost from in here too for $2,000. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Not today, at least. I already subscribe to the premium connectivity, so I don't need to do that. And then the accessories are just your shopping, but you can do it from within the app at the Tesla store. There you go. And what else have we got? Safety score. Well, this is kind of cool. I've been trying to get FSD beta, obviously, and so I want a high safety score. And as you can see, I'm a 98, but what's kind of cool about this, and it took me a few days to realize, is you have daily details down here. So you can go through and see, I've done no driving today yet, but you can see what you did. Like yesterday, I drove 28 miles and I got a safety score of 100 and didn't have any problems at all. But I go back a few days and oh my gosh. Yeah, I remember this. I was daydreaming. I was on autopilot thinking I was going somewhere else and realized, oh my gosh, that's my turn there, and slammed on the brakes. So that day I only drove 8 miles, pick up some pizza, but my safety score was 78, the lowest I've gotten so far. But what's kind of cool, and I may go do that right now actually, jump out, is I use a Tesla Scope app, and if you're trying to keep a high score, they have a really neat function in here underneath. They have safety score. And they'll show you what your score is too, but they'll show you exactly what it is. Like I'm 98.48. If I go over 98.5, it'd become a 99. But what it does is it tells you down here how many miles you would need to go to bump it to the 99. So I could go get a 99. If I got 100% score, didn't get any errors for 24 miles, that would bump me up to 99. It's kind of cool. Service. To request service, you would tap this button, of course, and then you go in here and select which service you need. I actually have a noise. I'm not going to set up a service appointment, but I'm going to pretend that I do. It's a high-pitched whine, so I'll go in here and I'll describe the concern. Then I would enter my address. Then it would give me a service center to select. And then I would tap request service. I'm going to back out now because I don't want to. But if I go back to the request service button, it will have created an entry for me. History. Yeah, this is interesting. This is my pickup day. And they had put PPF on that day, I believe. And so it shows the invoice here. No charge. Let's see if you can see it there. But anyway, you can review service invoices in here. What else can you do? See if there's any messages. And I have none. So also in service, you have your video guides. You know, which are the same ones you've probably been over online umpteen times in anticipation of getting your car delivered. But you just call them up and they'll play right in here. Yeah, you're not going to hear the sound now because I got a microphone in. And you also have the owner's manual, which is also online. You can Google it if you want to download it, or you can access it through the car or through this app. Either one. This is where you request roadside service. The first thing you do would be select the car condition, and there are different categories here. I'll briefly go through each one of them so you can take a peek if you'd like. But what's interesting is if you go to the quick links here, you'll see this page that tells you what they support, how to use roadside assistance, but it also tells you what they support and what they won't support. And as you look at this, you'll notice that breakdowns are covered for up to 500 miles to the nearest service center. Flat tires, however, are only for 50 miles Lockouts, they don't mention anything about what the distance is there. But out of range, I found is interesting, is it's not a financially covered service. So you might want to flag yourself down a F-150 Lightning and have it charge you up. And apparently they can help you with other things too, but you need to call them. All that's left is information about your car at the bottom. And it gives you the specs. If you ever need to order the repair kit for your paint, this will tell you your paint color in here. And your warranty. Tickles me to no end that I don't have to worry about my battery until 2030. So that's an overview of the app. It's really useful and fun. I mean, the Sentry Mode videos are a kick, and I haven't used the Lost the Car, but I'm getting to the age where I don't see that being very long before I'll have to use it. If you haven't seen the app before, I hope you enjoyed the overview, but if you do have the app, I hope you discovered a thing or two in here that you didn't know about before. I sure did making this video. In any case, it was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching. If you feel so inclined, subscribe and like the video. And until later, take care.